What's going on, all you fantastic people? I'm Matt.
And I'm Vanessa.
And today we're going to be talking about Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Finally.
Which stars Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Oscar Isaac, Adam Driver, Daisy Ridley, and John Boyega, and picks up where The Force Awakens left off. The Resistance is planning a daring escape, while the First Order looks to wipe them out entirely. Meanwhile, Rey has found Luke Skywalker and hopes to bring him out of exile and aid the Resistance. And that's it in a nutshell. Short, sweet, compact, no spoilers. I feel like anything else would kind of drift into spoiler territory. We're not going to do that to you guys if you haven't seen it. It's not what we're about.
No.
But I will say, just to be honest with you guys, we saw this movie last night. It's been almost 24 hours, and there's a lot to think about, a lot to mull over. This movie's kind of complicated.
It is. It's a bit complicated.
But we're going to try and make it easy.
Yes.
We're going to break it down with what we liked, then get into what we didn't like, and right out of the gate, right off the bat, however you want to phrase that, Luke Skywalker's back.
Yay!
That to me is awesome, especially considering that The Force Awakens leaves you with such a cliffhanger.
Sure does.
Now we get a film where he's partly the center of the movie.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's just awesome seeing him. It's special to see him, hear him talk, kind of sort of see him in action.
Kind of, yeah.
It's just, there's something about it. It's nostalgic. But he is not the Luke Skywalker that you know and remember. He's different. He's changed. He's a broken man. He's got issues. Darn it. Personal demons. He's going through some stuff. Leave the man alone.
Come on.
But it's still, regardless, awesome to see him. Leia has more of a central role in this film, and that was pretty cool, getting to see her be more involved in the movie. I feel like in The Force Awakens, she kind of shows up near the end, and it's like, wow! This one, she's right there from the beginning, throughout the entire film. I thought that was cool.
I mean, like, it's kind of giving you that brother and sister feel, the Luke and Leia of
even if they're
original ones.
on completely opposite ends of the galaxy.
Yes.
Got that camaraderie.
Come on.
But she's more of a central role, and you actually get to see her use her abilities for once in what was kind of a different, interesting, but somewhat spectacular scene, which of course we're not going to get into.
No.
This movie also harkens back to the original trilogy. Some of the original characters show up in this movie.
They do.
That was cool. So it's got that feel to it of being like part of the original trilogy. It feels like it fits in that regard.
Yes.
Also, this movie pulls out some twists and turns and surprises that I didn't know were still capable, or that Star Wars was still capable of doing.
Right.
There we go. Because in my mind, Force Awakens felt like A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back smushed together. It's like a little baby love child of those two. This feels different.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, it feels different. The use of the Force is presented in a new way,
which is wonderful.
It's pretty cool, not gonna lie. Some new tactics, some new weapons, some of the character storylines and character arcs. A lot of it feels different and new.
Yes, it does.
While also feeling nostalgic.
Yes.
Once again, complicated movie. Very complicated.
Your emotions go everywhere.
Yeah. So a lot of that was really neat, but the best part about this movie, to me, this movie is the best looking Star Wars film from a visual aspect.
It is stunning.
Not just special effects. I'm just saying, not just special effects.
Not just the special effects, but the special effects are fantastic too.
Yes, of course.
The graphics are great.
Yes.
The editing was just on point. Everything looks good, but a lot of the cinematography, a lot of the shots, nice, clean shots, and then some that just take your breath away.
Yeah, this film is directed by Rian Johnson, who, if you don't know, gave us Brick and Looper, two very well-made and highly underrated films. He knows his way around a camera, and it shows in this movie, because there were moments when the entire theater's just like,
exactly.
What? And then there were scenes, or even just shots, where my jaw was hitting the floor. It looks great.
So good.
Looks fantastic. And that leads me into a different territory. What we didn't like about this movie. So, as of this moment, I just looked, right before we started filming this, on Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score is sitting at 56%.
56.
Compared to the 93% critics rating. So people have issues with this movie.
People have issues. We have issues.
We have issues with this movie.
We sure do.
Now, let me preface this by saying, I don't think this movie is terrible.
No, I don't think it's terrible either.
I feel like a lot of people are disappointed.
Yes.
I can understand that.
Yes.
Because this movie has issues.
This movie has issues.
Once again, this movie is complicated. So, one issue. Let's just start here. If you're like me, and you read movie reviews, or you get on YouTube and watch other people's movie reviews, I'm sure by now you've heard of the Finn and Rose subplot that takes place in the movie. I knew about it going into the movie, but I had to see it for myself, and then be able to judge it. I saw it. It doesn't work.
It
does not fit in this movie.
I didn't know about it, and it still doesn't work.
It still doesn't work. It feels out of place, and dare I say, Phantom Menace-ish? That's not a good thing. It feels silly. Now, one thing is it does introduce us to the Benicio del Toro character, which, granted, it's a small role. Maybe the movie didn't even need him in it. But I like Benicio del Toro, and I actually liked his character. But the rest of that subplot it doesn't work. And then there's even a moment towards the end of the movie between Rose and Finn where I just shook my head and was immediately infuriated.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And then there's almost at the very end like a love triangle or a pseudo love triangle that they're trying to do. I sure hope they're not.
I sure hope they're not too. Love triangles do not belong in Star Wars.
No.
They don't. I'm sorry.
No.
Leave that to Hunger Games or whatever else.
Yeah.
Not Star Wars. No.
Thank you.
So there was that. And there's also, the script does have issues. There are moments of humor that do work. People in the theater were laughing. It was a good time. And there are moments that just fall completely flat.
Very flat.
It's not, I'm just going ahead and say, it's not the Porgs. It's not them. They're actually kind of cute.
They're pretty cute.
You will be hearing that bird call in your sleep, though.
Nightmares.
In your nightmares. But no, it's just, the script does have issues, and there are things, to me, in my mind, that don't make sense.
It does. There are things, when any fan watches this movie, there are going to be things that you wish they did differently, and there are going to be things that maybe you wish they didn't do at all. And I think those are the biggest problems with the movie.
Well, I just mean when you stop and take a step back. I'm even if you're not the biggest Star Wars fan, I think there are things in this movie, when you take a step back and look at them, do not make a whole lot of sense. Now, from the fan perspective, which, I mean, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I'm really not. Am I a fan? Yes. I enjoy the movies thoroughly. I do. The exception being some of the prequels. We're not talking about that. We're talking about this movie. And in this movie, there are things from a fan perspective where I was disappointed. And I wish they did do differently. With all of that being said, you can't please everyone.
No,
you just can't. And I feel like they set out to make a movie that tried to please most people. And for the most part, it does work.
It does. When I told you when we were leaving the movie theater yesterday was I feel like they played it safe with this movie. I
would agree.
They could have gone different directions and tried to please the majority of people, but instead they played it safe. And I don't know what they're intending to do for the next one, but I wish they would have taken a little bit more risk.
I would agree with that. I do feel like they played it safe. I also feel like they left a lot of things unanswered. Yes. I have questions, and I would like some answers. I might not get those answers. I have to be okay with that. So, yeah. I hope this review makes sense.
It's complicated.
I mean, I didn't want to come out here and just drop a bunch of spoilers on you guys, especially if you haven't seen the movie. So, we're playing it safe. We're playing it safe by kind of tiptoeing around things. But I will say, in the end, I did have fun with this movie.
Me too.
There were parts that I really didn't like, things that I wish they had done differently, and ultimately, I will say I was slightly disappointed. I will go that route. It is not the best Star Wars film in my opinion. It's also not the worst. Phantom Menace. But it is a good film, and I think they did a lot of things right.
They did.
And so, yeah, I'm giving it a B-.
Yes. I was engaged the entire time. I was entertained. Visually, very, very entertaining movie. My issues, I have them. Don't need to really get into them already, but I'm giving the movie a B.
Yeah. And
I think people should still see it.
Oh, absolutely. I do think people should still see it. And also one thing we didn't touch upon, this is just real quick, Mark Hamill is fantastic in this movie.
Yeah, the performances are great, but Mark Hamill is
fantastic in this movie.
Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back. Yes. And so, yeah. Thank you for sitting through this.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome.
You are.
If you have seen Star Wars, The Last Jedi, let us know what you thought about it down below.
Right there.
I will also say I feel like I'm going to need to see this movie again to get an even better read on it. It is like that. So let us know what you thought about it. And of course, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you don't like it, I understand. This review is just as complicated as the movie, which is why it's taken us almost 24 hours to get around to it. Anyways, if you want to see more of our not-so-confusing movie reviews, hit the subscribe button. Once again, you guys are awesome. You guys are the best. And as always, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We will see you guys next time.